Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. Today is a very exciting day, or I guess by the time that you are seeing this episode, yesterday, or maybe even the day before, I've kind of lost count, but the bundle has finally been released into the vanilla version of the game. So that is what we are going to spend today taking a look at. Now, before, the plan was actually to build some trees and do some landscaping around town in a more untraditional sense, I suppose. So not so much saplings, but more of homemade, hand-built trees and things like that. That way we can start to match the scale of our buildings, but in comparison, that is kind of boring compared to bundles. So we are spending the day talking about those. I know it's not entirely interesting, but maybe it is. I certainly have been waiting a long time for these bundles to get here. But there is one other thing that we also have to do. Well, we don't necessarily have to do it, but we are going to, in order to make life with bundles a lot easier. They require rabbit hide to craft. It is not leather, it is rabbit hide. We have one. So we obviously are lacking in the rabbit hide department. So we are going to fix that today. We are making a rabbit farm. We are heading out to the desert, or maybe elsewhere if we can find some rabbits closer to us. That would be ideal, but most likely the desert. We will bring them back, start breeding them, and set up a permanent rabbit farm somewhere in our valley. First, I'm curious. I want to just check over here and see if we can find any rabbits in this meadow, either before or after our wall, which I have not really touched in weeks or months. I forget when that video came out. But nonetheless, I'm not really seeing any rabbits around here, which is a likely indication that we will be traveling to the desert. Now, I feel like I have seen rabbits in Cherry Grove biomes in the past. I'm just curious to see if we will find any here today. This will be our last area that we check before heading off to the desert. But it does not appear as though we have any rabbits in this biome, so off to the desert we go. So here we are. I have plenty of leads and dandelions, and we are just going to search around and try to find some rabbits. They are going to blend in quite nicely in this biome. Obviously, we have those tan colored. In fact, there's one right now, so we will allow him to slowly approach us here. If we just hold this dandelion, he will slowly move in, and we will swoop in with our lead and get him onto there. We just need one more, and then we can head back home. Although this one really doesn't seem that motivated to jump. There we go. All right. It might even be easiest to just take this one through the nether portal. He will just hang out on the other side until we go through, and then we will put him back on the lead after we do that. That way we can fly around while we search for other rabbits. So through the portal he goes, and we are just going to search for one more here. And we have a winner. All right, let's get both of them home. And we have made it home with our rabbits. I got really lucky. I hit the jackpot. I found 6 more rabbits than what we have here. Thank goodness I did though, because it was very difficult getting them through the nether. They would occasionally get stuck on blocks. Somehow it is difficult to keep them on a 1 block wide platform, even though they are one of the smallest mobs. Nonetheless though, we have successfully brought back 2 rabbits, which will be enough to get a rabbit farm going. We are going to go ahead and breed them real quick. That way we can start to get business underway here. We will throw the 3rd one onto a lead as well. Of course, he's just going to hop away. There we go. We'll tie him up, and that has begun. So now we can get to work on our rabbit farm. Let's kind of survey the land and see where we might want to put this. Of course, we have the area that we've really been developing quite a bit recently, our town center with the museum, the trading hall, the wolf house, and of course our armadillo and cactus farm. but I think we might move in a different direction. Of course, if we go to our north, that is going to be more of our industrial area, not so much suited for rabbit repopulation, but I'm thinking maybe over in this area behind our old smelting building. We are kind of developing this over here a little bit, and actually I do intend on building a haunted house here in the coming days for Halloween next to our graveyard, but I think this region right here is perfect for a rabbit enclosure. It is small. The enclosure is, this area is big, but the enclosure is small. It doesn't take up much space, and I think we could incorporate it right up here quite nicely. So we will get to work on that. I think we are going to stick with our same dark oak and spruce plank pattern as we merge into this area right over here. So the rain has subsided and we have everything that we need to get started on this build. I think we will begin by removing this oak tree right down here. We don't really need that. We can always plant another one if we want to. I think we're gonna utilize this edge of this wall right here and do a little bit of terraforming around it. So I think we will take out this dirt. And again, this is very spontaneous. I have not had time to plan anything for this. Again, the update at the time that I am playing has come out literally hours ago. So I am just now getting into this, but I wanted to get it out quickly because the bundle is kind of a big deal. But this will serve as our starting point. Now, here's the thing about rabbits, in case you didn't know this about them. They can jump. And not only jump, they can hop, and a fence will not be enough to keep them in. Instead, we will need a wall that is fairly large on all sides. I think what we will do is, again, incorporate this design from our automatic crop farm right up here, and we will use this for our rabbit farm. So I think we will go maybe 5 blocks wide, and then we will have a couple more of our dark oak posts right here. That is spruce. Wait, is that what I used? Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, so our spruce will be right up here, and we will just match the height on that end as well. I think we may even keep it as simple as just extending this wall across here, that wall across there, and then maybe have the glass going around the top. That would be a bit of an enclosure for them. It would be small, but the rabbits are fairly small. We'll just start with that and see how we like it. So I think we will do our stone bricks underneath all of the dark oak planks. We will have those go all the way around on all sides. And then we will have our dark oak planks up top. That will surround just like this. And I know it seems kind of cold and lifeless right now, but I think we will spruce things up a little bit. We will plant some vines on the walls in here. We will maybe make a small tree. Now, we do need to be careful of anything that will allow them enough clearance to get over this wall. But other than that, I think we should be okay. We could have even a small pond and things like that if we wanted to. We could also go into the ground by 1 block right here and replace that stone with dirt. That would give us even more clearance up above and a little more room to work with. So I think we will opt for that. And then we can also have this step down in that direction as well, and just have this whole complex here continue on down towards the town center. So once again, we will extend the stone bricks down 1 more layer. I'm debating keeping that stone in there, but I think I would rather have more of a finished look on this build, especially since it is brand new. We can always go back and make it look a little bit more weathered later on, and then I think flying over here for some of that haste 2 might be worth it to clear out all of that stone. And we will just go ahead and fill this in with grass right away. That way we don't have to wait on the dirt to grow into grass. And that will actually bring quite a bit of color into here already. Of course, we will have our glass panes going around the top, which we can do right now. and these will follow the very similar pattern that we have for our crop farm. And to get in and out of this farm, we are going to have sort of an airlock, I suppose, so that when we go into it, if the rabbits try to escape, they will get trapped before the second door. Or if we are leaving and a rabbit gets out, we can allow it to get back in without any further complications. But I think I want that to be a little bit more hidden. This will be almost sort of a zoo display, if that's what we want to call it here. So I think we will put our back door right over here, again, that sort of airlock, I guess. And we can have that exit out even all the way over here. We could have a secondary door under here. Again, we are not going to need to breed the rabbits all that often, just enough to keep up the rabbit supply and enough so that we can make our first bundle. I guess in that case, since we're not going to have this step down, we could actually move this platform over a little bit more. So we will continue our stone bricks in this direction, something like that, and then we can continue the rest of our pattern that we have around this crop farm and now around the rabbit farm with our spruce logs here in the corners. Yeah, I think that works quite nicely. Of course, we will go back and change those planks to match the slabs and stairs that we have right there. But now we can replace this dirt on the inside with some more stone bricks. So we'll get that all filled in, and we are out of stone bricks now, but we have some more stone. We can make more if we need to, and we will fill in with our glass as well, going around the edge right there. We'll make a few more panes and we will get those placed down. I think we will maybe, well, I think we might build a couple more of these lamps, the street lights here, and maybe one more right up there. We will see how dark it gets inside of this pen at night. But now we need to close this off. We are just going to go with glass panes for that all the way across. That way we get a nice view inside of here. So something like that. I should probably double check the Minecraft wiki to see how tall they can jump. It is either 2 or 3 blocks, I don't remember off the top of my head. But that means that the enclosure as it is right now is plenty tall for the rabbits to not be able to escape. With that in place now, we can do a little bit of landscaping on the inside, make it look a little bit nicer for them, and then we will go ahead and bring our rabbit friends over and they can settle into their new home. And I think this will actually be a little bit easier if we just grab our landscaping shulker box. So as the sun sets, this will give us a good sense of how much light is getting into here. As of right now, it doesn't seem like we are getting that much. If we place in some glow berries and things like that, glow lichen, even that light level of 1 or 2 is enough to prevent mobs from spawning, and really that's the entire goal. I just don't want any creepers in here. They wouldn't harm the rabbits or anything like that. It's just when we go in to, well, collect them, I suppose. Alright, so let's see here. I think we will do a pond maybe right here. Nothing too large, just something like that, and we will go ahead and replace the stone with some dirt. We'll get our water into place, fill in the rest of those extremities, and now our pond is finished. I guess maybe right here we will go with a stone brick. There we go. We need a few flowers. Of course, they love dandelions, so we will have a few of these planted throughout here. And I hear a zombie somewhere. I don't know where he is, though. I guess it makes sense. We are right next door to the graveyard. We'll swoop down here and take him out. Go back to where you belong. But now back in here, we will get some glow lichen placed down. I guess we could do a few pink petals as well. I only have a couple in here. I don't want to lose track of what I have this stocked with, so we will leave that one and we will return with a few more later on. Let's get some roses planted. Maybe a few in the corners, maybe that one right there for some variation. And some orchids for a pop of color. And finally, we need some kind of tree in here to really sell the look. So we will do a very, very small oak tree with just a few oak logs here in the middle. I need to go grab some leaves, and then we will have our glowberries hanging from that, which should light up the entire enclosure. There we go, that is gonna work for us. Let's get a glowberry. I guess we can't place those on the leaves. They need to be placed on solid blocks, so we may have some branches on this tree. So let's try dark oak logs instead, simply because that is what I have right now. And we will just have a branch extending out in that direction. We'll get a glowberry placed underneath there. We'll bone meal both of those, and that lights up this enclosure quite nicely. I think the rabbits will be very happy with this once they get all settled in. And we just need a couple of doors for our quote-unquote airlock. We'll use dark oak. That will blend in with the rest of this build quite nicely. The first one we'll place from the outside right here, and the second one from this side of the enclosure. Some of this tall grass might have to go. It kind of gets in the way a little bit, but that one will be placed right there. And I guess we could even fill in some dirt around here. Maybe just that, and we will leave it as that is. We'll pile up some dirt right there. Get one more stone brick underneath there. And with the exception of those slabs and stairs, which I guess we could do right now, there we go. Our build is now finished. So now we can bring over the rabbits, get them into place, and we will just wait for them until we have enough of a supply that we can harvest some of that rabbit hide and make our first bundle. And boy, could we use it right now. And here we are, the 3 rabbits. Wonderful. So we are gonna let them off of their leads, and they are free to roam about within their enclosure. I hope they are happy enough with it. Let's go ahead and breed them again. That way we can keep that moving. And we will step out of here and watch from the other side of our glass. There we go. That is wonderful. 4 rabbits now, and of course we have our dandelions. I think we will keep some of these. We have these barrels for storage, although that is technically for our lava storage, so I think we will just hang on to those inside of there. Or I guess we could place another barrel right here. Nonetheless, we have rabbits now, so I'm going to get the quantity up a little bit and then get enough rabbit hide, and we will make a bundle, and that is where we will end it for today. And we are back. We have enough raw rabbit to feed a family of 20, but we also have enough rabbit hide to craft a bundle. Of course, I made a pretty big mistake. I did not realize that you could make a bundle out of leather as well, and in fact it is only 1 leather to do so. But on the bright side, we have ourselves a rabbit enclosure, something that we were going to do eventually anyway, so I am not all that disappointed. In fact, I think we get a little extra props for doing it the long way. But with all of this in hand, we can now craft... Did they remove? Well, that's unfortunate. I guess they removed being able to craft a bundle with rabbit hide. Ignore the entire first half of this video. We are going to treat that as a rabbit enclosure part, and the second half will be treated as the bundle part. I did not realize that they removed the rabbit hide recipe. Oh well, 1 leather, 1 string gives us 1 bundle that we can store our rabbit hide in. We can store our raw rabbit in. We even got a rabbit's foot, some wheat seeds, leaves. We are really filling this thing up fast, but all of our single items we can fit into there. The buckets, okay, it does take buckets. All right, does it fill it up as much as... Yes, it does. And I don't think we can put a tool in there. No, we cannot. But there we have it. That is the bundle, and that is our rabbit hide enclosure. Or rabbit enclosure, I should say. Again, completely separate from our bundle. It was, of course, never intended to go with it. Just something to fill the episode. Of course, that's not actually true. I genuinely did think that the rabbit hide would work, but again, it doesn't really matter because we now have a rabbit enclosure. We have a way to get rabbit hide, rabbit's foot, and, of course, raw rabbit if we decide to use that as a food source. But that is where we are going to end today's episode. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit that thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on daily content as soon as I publish it. Check the description for some more important information, links, how to contact me, all of that good stuff. And with all that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!